The horn wasn't working. I snipped the wire in half. I connected the wires from the cab to the horn. The wire was just long enough to connect the battery to the horn. That wire wasn't long enough to reach between the two horns. I connected the wires from the cab to the horn. Everything was wired up. The horn had power. I figured that should get Hobbs's attention.
All right, hold your blooming horses. What are you up to with my van?
Hello there. We fixed your horn.
So I hear. Now what are you doing in my yard?
Afternoon, Mr. Hobbs. We're from the model agency.
About blooming time. I'm on a deadline. You better come up. About time you two showed up.
Hello, Mr. Hobbs. I was just wondering if...
Can it, Goldilocks? I don't have time for chit-chat. Just get undressed behind that screen.
Undressed?
That was the deal. An extra 20 quid because I need you with your kit off.
The studio was freezing.
And as for you, darling, no need to get undressed. I've got a vivid imagination, so I'll just use that. Either way, just go sit over there on that rug and give me your best belly pock floozy. That's perfect. Just hold it there.
Nico made for a good distraction. I just needed to figure out how to get a look inside that portfolio. A variety of liquor bottles, all empty. I wasn't going to mess around with that wiring.
Hey! Leave that dial alone. The heating gobbles up all the power and the circuits can't take it.
Sorry. I turned the thermostat down again. Wow, an old Bofson Wang stereo. I hadn't seen one of those for years. Hobbs seemed to have a thing for 70s psychedelic jams. The record had stopped. It was Jasmine Breeze by the Hairy Lobsters. The stereo was switched off. I turned the volume up a few notches. I turned the volume down again. I turned the volume up a few notches.
Hey, I've told you don't mess with that thermostat.
I didn't need to sit. It was time for action. It was locked. I wondered what was behind the door.
Hey, stop meddling with that. The power's ropey enough as it is.
Blowing the power would certainly have distracted Hobbs, but the elevator alone wasn't going to trip the whole system.
Hey, I'm still drinking that.
How about a top-up, Mr. Hobbs?
Oh, don't mind if I do. Hi, what do you think you're doing?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to take a look at some of your pictures. You're very good.
I know, and that portfolio is private. I'm not paying you to gawp around my studio. Get your blooming clothes off.
Sorry. A record was spinning. I didn't want to play around with the negligee. Those days are long gone. But I wondered who it did belong to.
My, if it isn't George Stobart.
Lady Piermont. Oh, my. You're...
Naked? Of course. As an artist's muse, one often finds oneself en pelotas. Now, George, don't be shy. Come here and give me a big hug.
That day was the day the nightmares had begun. Trapped, smothered, choking on lavender.
George, darling, pass me my robe. It's terribly cold in here.
Oi, what are you doing with a blooming robe on? God help me, but you're supposed to be naked. I've got a deadline to meet.
Well, you won't be meeting any deadlines with manners like that. And besides, it's freezing in here.
Lady Piermont and I had met before. She was larger than life, in every way. Lady Piermont.
Oh, George, be a darling and sort the heating out in here.
I'll see what I can do. Excuse me, Mr. Hobbs.
Oh, what do you want? You're supposed to be sprawled naked on that rug with the family jewels out.
Yeah, well, about that. Could I just ask you a couple of questions first?
Blow me. A model who's shy and chatty. It must be my birthday.
Lady Piermont was wondering if you could turn the heating up. It's very cold in here.
Oh, is that so? Well, tell Her Majesty that the heating stays off. The wiring in this place can't take the load.
So, what's in the folder that you're so touchy about?
Little boys should keep their noses out of other people's business. Understand?
Totally.
I have got my eye on you, pal.
Yeah, about this naked, sprawling...
Oh, what's up? Afraid of the shrinking effects of a cold warehouse?
No, it's just...
First time? Little embarrassed? Well, if it helps, we can all get naked.
No, definitely not.
Well then, what are you waiting for? Let the monkey see the nuts.
We had a saying in the Stobart family. If a job's worth doing, then do it with your pants on. I'll let you get back to your painting.
You're too kind.
Hobbs had loosely sketched a young couple and an elderly lady sitting next to an overturned picnic basket. The three characters were naked. Behind them, two men in suits were chatting.
Hey! I've told you, don't mess with that thermostat.
Sorry, but Lady Piermont is cold. I thought...
Look, pal, I know it's brass monkeys in here, but the wiring in this building is ancient, and the fuse box won't take it. Her Majesty will just have to get used to chapel hat pegs.
Lady Piermont, Mr. Hobbs won't let me turn up the heating.
Well, we'll soon see about that.
Oh, crumbs.
If you do not adjust the heating, I shall refuse to cooperate.
Lady Piermont, it's the circuits. They won't take the strain. You know what old buildings are like.
In which case, I see no reason for this session to continue.
Whoa, Lady Piermont, let's not be too hasty. I'm sure I can accommodate your needs.
Good. Perhaps you can start by letting George here turn up the heating.
Oh, go ahead then. But be careful. The power in here is temperamental.
I turned the thermostat up as far as it would go. I wondered if the suspicious wiring could be used to my advantage. How about another whiskey?
That's smashing. Pour away.
A word, if I may, Lady Piermont.
For you, George, I'm all ears. How can I help?
Lady Piermont, we need your help.
How thrilling! What do you need? Subterfuge? Legerdemain?
Actually, I just need you to step onto that lift behind you.
Oh, but of course. Is this good, George, darling?
Perfect. Now, just stay right there. I decided to wait until Hobbs was painting again. That would annoy him the most. Now was my chance. It was one of Hobbs' sketches. More of Hobbs' Impressionist sketches. Well, it wasn't La Malediccio, but it did appear to be a study for an element of the painting, the Ouroboros. There was something different about the image in the center. I figured the sketch might come in handy, so I took it.
What the heck are you doing with those? They're private papers.
Huh?
Well, that was fun. Just like when you were a private dick, George.
So, you're not models?
No, Mr. Hobbs.
Well, you can't be a copper. You're not stupid enough. So what the blazes are you doing in my studio?
We're investigating the theft of a painting, La Malediccio, by the Spanish artist El Serp. One of these sketches is a study of that painting.
Well, sure, but what's that got to do with that? I'm a restorer, and I restored it. I've got naught to do with what happened after that painting left this studio. How was I to know it was going to get Henri killed?
Hang on a second. How do you know Henri's dead?
Look, he and I went back a long way. Le Lézard Bleu was on the ropes, so I got the painting into his exhibition. Nothing like this was supposed to happen.
We're not accusing you of anything, Mr. Hobbs. We just want to get to the bottom of this.
I get that, and I'll help you however I can, but this mess is way above my pay grade.
I'd just taken the sketch from Hobbs's portfolio. Now, how come you needed to make so many sketches of the painting to restore it?
Restoration's not about throwing a load of paint around. It takes research. The Serp is a complicated painting. A lot of subtext, a lot of symbols.
Tell me about the symbols in La Malediccio.
Very Christian, deeply religious, but not exactly orthodox.
The sort of thing that would upset a priest? There was one at the gallery telling everyone how evil it was.
As I said, it's not exactly orthodox, and the church can be very touchy about orthodoxy. Especially now they can't just burn anyone they disagree with.
We have reason to believe that Madovsky is mixed up in the theft of La Malediccio.
Eh? What would he gain from stealing his own painting?
We have strong evidence that Madovsky is not the real owner.
He'll have a hard time proving that. Medovsky has a full set of provenances for the painting. It traces its legitimate ownership all the way back to the painter.
Why didn't Madovsky mention them?
Because they're not with him. Henri's got them. Or had them.
And Henri is dead.
So ask his partner.
Lane?
Lane, yeah, Lane. Look, pal, you're wasting your time looking for conspiracies here. And you're wasting my time if you're not actually going to get naked. Go get the provenance from Lane, and everything will turn out hunky-dory.
But it also puts Marchese's story into question.
Not my problem, darling. Now both of you, get lost. I've got a painting to finish.
And we have a critic to interrogate.
Someone's lying, but who?
Is it the gangster or the old Spaniard?
The painter or the art critic?
I need to head back for Nave's reconstruction.
What about the evidence from Medovsky's house? Will you give it to Nave?
I think I should. And I can put the squeeze on Lane. Ask him about the provenance.
Good. I've got lunch with Ronnie tomorrow. This story is hotting up, and I want to make sure he keeps me on it.
Taxi! It was good to be back in Rue Jarry.
Ah, a customer. Oh, it's you.
Fleur?
Come in, come in.
Last time I met Fleur, she was selling flowers from a street stall. Things had clearly gone very well for her since then. Hi, Fleur.
Georges, welcome. The young lady you're looking for is not at home.
How did you...
No, I have the gift.
Did Nico tell you I might be stopping by?
No, but I was expecting you nonetheless.
Fleur was the best and probably the only psychic florist in Paris. So, the young woman I'm looking for.
Nico lives next door.
Yeah, she's not in?
No, I believe she has gone out.
Did the tea leaves tell you that?
No, I saw her leaving a while ago.
So, Fleur, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Georges. Though truth be told, my hip has been playing up again. And I have a funny feeling about the number 12.
But apart from that, nothing new?
No, that is all.
Do these sketches mean anything to you?
Take them away, Georges. They have the taint of death on them.
Are you serious?
I mean it. Take them away.
I have this matchbox. Anything peculiar about it?
It has a cockroach inside.
Yeah. He's called Trevor.
He prefers the name Boris, you know.
Well, I think you'll find that's his patronymic. Are you getting any vibes from this note?
No.
Can you tell me anything about this coin?
I could, but then you'd know as much as me.
And?
I can't give away all my secrets, Georges.
Anything you can tell me about this whiskey bottle?
Not a spirit world I'm familiar with, Georges.
Can you tell me anything about this eau de toilette?
It's cheap, smells bad, and belongs to a man.
Gee, thanks. I didn't think Fleur would be interested. Speak to you later.
Not if I speak to you first, Georges.
There were boxes stacked along the wall. They were all labeled. I decided against wandering into the back. Fleur's classics were blaring out into the street. The door was locked. I remembered Nico said she was having lunch with Ronnie. Here I was again at the crime scene. Inside the gallery, I could see lots of activity. Now they preparing for the reconstruction, no doubt. Nico and I had a good idea who the killer was. Now we had to do...
Sir, I already tried starting it up. I think it's broken.
Nonsense, Moo. This machine has the power of 10 investigators.
But investigators never fail to start up, sir.
Your pessimism is duly noted, Moo. But have faith. This machine will analyze the scene, compute the data, and deduce everything for us. The location of the second shooter will be a mystery no more. One moment.
A marvel indeed, sir, though at the moment it is kaput.
Your pessimism has obviously infected the circuitry, Moo. Let me think for a moment.
If I could just...
Shh! Eh bien, Moo, now try realigning the laser matrix.
Sir, I have no idea what that is.
Move over, Moo. Now, let me see. Oscillating reverberator? Check. Refraction spectrometer? Check. Now, what can I do? Ah, Monsieur Stobart, it's only you. Glad you could finally make it.
Inspector, I've got some good news and some bad news.
Oh, yes? I shall be the judge of that.
I think I know who the killer is.
Really?
Yep, he's a gardener called Shears living in London.
Fascinating. And the good news?
We don't need to do your reconstruction.
You joke with me, Monsieur Stobart.
It's not a joke. This guy Shears was working for a Russian ex-mobster. It's all part of a highly complex fraud.
Gardeners, KGB, fraud. You are a fantasist, monsieur. And I have no time for fantasy. Reality is my suitcase, as you Americans say. Now, stand over there and keep out of trouble until the others arrive.
Well, who are we waiting for?
Mademoiselle Collard and Father Simeon, please. I am very busy. Ah, Moo, a clever choice. But no cigar for you. Try the red.
Mon Dieu,